Hey everybody, welcome. We're going to be working on a web agency one-pager build out in this quick project over here. What we're going to start with is a quick strategic approach and project breakdown in this slide just to know what it is we're going to be doing, and then we'll proceed to download some files and set them up in DreamWeaver so that then we can go to the next video and start working. So first thing we want to do is take a look at the project we're building out. Here on the left, you'll see the full one-pager start to finish. So starting at the top, we have the header with the navigation, the logo, a bit of teaser text, a little button to pull people in, a big header with a background image. And then I want you to imagine, the different sections of the web page, our latest projects, a section for maybe presenting a video. Again, the content on this is just placeholder text, imaginary text. There's nothing there that's meaningful, but it does provide a visual example. Section over here with a different type of layout, a meet the team section with some images and names and titles and stuff, and a list of customers over here in logo format, and of course the footer at the bottom. If we want to zoom in and take a closer look, we can see over here a few more details. I should mention that our final project does not necessarily have to look exactly like this. For example, our latest projects, this type of layout might be a little too tricky for some people. You know what, that's fine. Do the best you can. Maybe just set it up on a grid, just regular grid, no biggie. The headings, the subheadings, those can use different typography. It doesn't necessarily have to match exactly 100%. Same thing with the icons here. You might use something different, something better, perfectly fine. If you feel there are opportunities for you to make this look a bit nicer, that's great. This is mostly just a guideline for something to aim for. If you can make it better, then fine. If it's going to end up looking a little, less nice, then maybe put in a bit of effort and try to make it look as good as this. So that's where we are. Next step over here, we are going to look at how this is broken down. So what I've done here is I've outlined in green large sections. Okay, so the header, the projects, the video, these are like the big section parent containers. The header, of course, is a bit different, but each one of these other sections in between, they all have a lot of things in common. Heading 1, heading 2, some type of grid presentation. It could be as simple as, just a bunch of images on a grid, for example, our customers. It could be a little more complex, which requires a few more nested containers with parent and children set up using Flexbox to arrange them properly in a row, or space them out properly using some of the Flexbox properties. Same thing here with a lot of the items. There's probably a need for Flexbox in every one of these sections. If you want to explore this in more detail, there's a link over here that will open a link in a preview window that allows you to zoom in more closely and navigate structurally a bit more easily. You're welcome to check out that link to see how things are put together. Always consider how these things are broken down. This is the structural breakdown that I keep emphasizing, is when you look at something, you should be able to understand underlying structure that's helping with that layout in some way. So we'll look at this in more detail on the next slide. Over here, here's a graphic representation. It's not accurate 100%, but again, it shows you how you might want to visualize and think of these elements being put together. One thing I want you to keep an eye out for is repeating elements, and these are opportunities to do the work once and duplicate it repeatedly For example, things like this grid item over here. Right now we have 6 of these items arranged in the grid, but if we look at how they're built, it's one container with 2 smaller containers inside arranged in a row. Once you have one of them built out, it's very easy to just copy paste the HTML to make many of these and get the 6 that you need. You don't have to create a custom container for every single one. Same thing with the team images, same thing with the logos in our customers area. Some of these might be a little more tricky, like the navigation bar area, the header, but we're going to be working on those together in the videos, so just follow along and you should be fine. So what we're going to be doing, here's our strategy. We're going to be doing the visual breakdown, just as we did right now. Okay, we might have to refer to these visuals more than once. We're going to identify the sections and assess our approach for each one once we evaluate that section. And the trick here is to keep things from getting too insane. We're not worried about at this point the whole page. We're going to target each section and worry about that section while we're working on it. We're going to create an HTML document for the structure, the header, the footer sections with placeholder text. And of course, we're going to add classes wherever they're needed. We're going to create a CSS, a starter CSS file to get some document work file standards set up and everything. Here's the good news. I've already prepared those 2 files so that you can download them, and they're already pre-populated with some really basic structural elements to save us some time with just the drudgery of building that stuff from scratch. It's pretty straightforward. We'll review it together, find out what's cooking there. And it's very well documented with comments, so you know what everything does. And we're going to go for some quick wins. What are some quick wins? Well, we're going to connect Google Fonts for headings and paragraph text. That'll make it go quick and easy, and at least we'll have something making us feel like we're making progress. And pick easy wins like this to just keep moving forward and advancing. In the phase 2, once we have like everything set in place, we're going to start fleshing out each section with proper structure of tags, parent-child containers, relationships, and start populating containers with content, images, text, or both, and assign proper CSS to achieve the visual objectives we are going for. So at the worst, we kind of just duplicate what's in our images. If you want a challenge and you want to be more creative, go nuts and have fun with it and try to capture the spirit of the one-pager and do your own thing. Tackle each section as a standalone area to make the page build out manageable. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, look for opportunities for items that you can duplicate. For example, the headings. Each section will feature the exact same headings box. Once you build it out once and you get the formatting right, copy it in every section. It'll be the same, and you'll save a lot of time that way. A couple of hints and tips kind of keep us moving. As I mentioned just now, look for duplicate content to reuse. Don't spend too long in one section trying to make it perfect. Okay, one of the pitfalls is that you'll kind of start getting obsessed with getting things aligned just right or spaced perfectly. At this stage of the production, we are not concerned about these details. Just try to make sure that it's somewhat in the right place, somewhat where it should be and look like. We'll worry about the fine-tuning later. If the spacing between something is imperfect, if the corners aren't perfectly round the way you like, don't worry about it. We'll circle back and then deal with those details when we have a broader setup of the page in place. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is building out the structure in the HTML first. We need that structure to hook our CSS into. Without it, it's hard to do anything. So first we build out the HTML either content or containers, And then we populate those containers with the right text and images to make things happen. So, spoiler, practically every section, not practically, every section will need some type of flexbox solution of some type. So learn to spot it when looking at the mockup. Identify, something horizontal, 99% chance that's a flexbox solution there. So keep those flexbox attributes handy and refer to them if needed. So let's get started. We're going to download the starter files using the link below and extract folder into dedicated project folder that we can then tackle with DreamWeaver. So click here to download the files. Those files should land into a dedicated project folder, standalone project folder. Don't throw it on your desktop. Don't throw it in your downloads folder. Have a separate project folder set aside somewhere. Create a new folder called Web Agency Folder 2025, whatever. But just make sure that you know where it is and it's a dedicated folder with nothing else in it. And then download it. And you should end up with something like this. So you've gone ahead and downloaded the zip file. I'll zoom in a bit just so you can see. What you want to do now, and you can see here it's in my Concordia folder, Web Projects, Web Agency Fall 2025. That's the name of my folder and that's where it is. And now I'm going to right click and extract everything that's there. All right, well, I ended up with one folder too many. If I use another tool like 7-zip, I can extract here and just get the files I need. We don't need that extra level of depth there. I'm just going to delete that. Okay, the key is to remember where your files are, and you should see home, styles, and a folder called images. You can keep the original zip file just as a backup, or you can delete it to avoid confusion, and you can always download it at another time anyway if it comes. Yes. So this is basically what I'm looking for, and now I can proceed in DreamWeaver to set this up, and that's going to be in the next video. See you there.